How you doing, Lou?
Oh, no, around here I'm Glory, okay? But guess what?
With you, I couldn't guess.
Blackie is taking me to the dance.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's terrific. What dance?
The big one, of course. The spring formal and everything, and I've been practicing, too.
Yeah, practicing what?
Dancing. I'm getting real good, too.
Dancing?
Yeah.
Come on, prove it, darling.
Okay.
What's going on here?
Oh, hey, Blackie, I was just showing him how I can dance.
Yeah.
All right, let's do that real tricky part that we did before.
No, we don't have time. We don't have time.
Yeah, and I got to go to work, too. So, yes,
But only take a minute, you
It's
know,
all right.
really.
We don't have time. I told you, come on, we got to get to class. We're going to be late.
Okay.
Let's go.
I'm running late, so I'll just have coffee.
Water main residence? Yes, she is. Hang on a minute. It's for you.
Oh, thank you, Alan. Hello? Oh, good morning. Good morning. Would you wait just a moment? I'll join you in a minute, all right?
Fine.
I'm sorry. Now, what is it? What? Oh, no, that's terrible.
Mr. Agos, thank you for coming.
No problem. And I wish you'd call me Peter.
I'm Robert. Thank you very much. Let's get comfortable. Naturally, I'm curious.
What's the urgency?
Well, Peter, you see, I have this rather suspicious nature. Perhaps you can help me.
I will if I can. What are you suspicious about?
I think there's a whole lot more to this World Exposition than meets the eye. Why don't you tell me exactly what's going on?
Frankly, I don't know why you'd be suspicious. A world exposition seems to be self-explanatory.
And the one planned for Port Charles doesn't seem self-explanatory, at least not to me.
Why not?
Several reasons. Oh, sure, I'm aware that there's a big effort going on to distribute federal funds amongst local areas. But in this case, it just doesn't add up.
What doesn't?
A world exposition here in Port Charles. To start with, this is a moderate city in upstate New York. Oh, sure, we have adequate ground and air transport to large centers, but we're hardly in the geographical heart of anything, and not even close to a large population center either.
Those seem to be valid reasons to stage an exposition here, to stimulate the economy.
I don't agree. To start with, our economy isn't hurting. Not in comparison to about a dozen other places that could use the boost. I mean, if that isn't reason enough to say why Port Charles, I say why an exposition anyway, at least at this time.
Expositions serve many purposes.
Sure they do. Same as a World Fair, maybe a World Trade Center, perhaps a dozen other cultural exchange programs we have going on around the country at this particular point. Now, something you're not telling me here. Am I right?
Frankly, yes.
I knew it. Now, suppose you tell me exactly what's going on.
You understand, I'm not specifically authorized to explain.
Look, I can get you a security clearance without ever leaving this house.
No, I won't stand on ceremony. It's a judgment call on my part, and I see no harm in informing you. After all, you are the police commissioner.
And I'm asking a reasonable question in that capacity. Why a world exposition here in my city?
There is an underlying purpose for holding the exposition here. It overrides all other considerations.
What is it?
The exposition will introduce a vitally important discovery by the United States.
What sort of a discovery?
Something that could benefit the entire world,
That's rather a strong statement.
but an accurate one. Help for the whole world.
Again, what is it?
Celia, is something wrong? You look shocked.
I am shocked. That was Grandfather Herbert's attorney.
Well, what happened?
Grandfather's had a heart attack.
Oh, my dear, how dreadful. Did you that, Edward?
Yes, I did, Lila. That was quite a blow. Don't you agree, Alan?
Yes, I'm absolutely speechless.
I assume it was severe, nearly fatal.
Oh, no. Fortunately, it wasn't. In fact, the attorney says that he's already on the road to recovery.
That's good news.
Yes, that's very.
However, there are complications.
Yes, there always are. Sometimes even another heart attack right away.
Oh, no. It doesn't sound like there's much danger of that.
Oh, of course not. There's no reason to think that with proper medication and management, a second attack is inevitable. I imagine they've ordered complete rest.
Yes. Bed rest for at least a month.
A month? My dear, what about your wedding?
Oh, well, it's off, of course. Fortunately, I haven't mailed the invitations yet. I was going to do that today.
Celia, I don't see why our wedding has to be put off.
You don't? Grant, isn't it obvious, especially to a doctor? Grandfather could never stand all that commotion at his mansion right now.
I realize that, dear. What I was going to suggest is that we skip the big, elaborate wedding and simply elope.
Oh, now, isn't that just like a man?
Why do you say that?
Because her wedding day is the most important day in a girl's life. And you just don't dash off somewhere and get it over with.
But a big wedding really is out of the question.
Nonsense, my dear. It's not out of the question. You shall have it here.
Here, Lila?
What? What do you mean here? Here in the house?
Well, I hardly meant in the garage, dear. Of course we'll have it here. Now, Celia, it's all very simple. All you have to do, dear, is to have the invitations engraved and explain that we're going to hold the wedding here instead of at dear Herbert's.
Oh, we couldn't let you go to all that trouble, Lila.
No, Grant's right. We've imposed far too much already.
Oh, nonsense, dear. There's nothing that I enjoy more than working out all the details and the plans for a lovely party. Now, of course, a wedding is a big challenge.
Well, perhaps it's too big, Lila.
Oh, ridiculous, dear. I thrive on it.
Yes, I know, but, you know, what about the wedding at St. Barnabas and then the reception here at the house, huh?
Well, that's an idea. Perhaps we should ask Celia and Grant what they think.
I think the wedding at the church and the reception here would be lovely.
It is very generous of you, Lila. I hope you know how much we appreciate it. You too, Edward.
Oh, think nothing of it.
Well, now, if that's settled, I have to get to the hospital. Will you be all right, Celia? I know you're still shocked about your grandfather.
Yes, well, you know, even at his age, he has remarkable strength. I just have to believe he'll be fine.
Well, we're all quite sure of that, aren't we, Edward?
Bull.
I beg your pardon?
I say, dear cousin Herbert has the strength of a bull.
Oh.
Then you'll be okay.
Yes, don't worry about me. In fact, I've changed my mind about that teaching job. I'll go over to the university and see what's available.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yes.
And I shall have to go up to my room, to my desk, and start telephoning the florists and the caterers and all the other people we'll use. Will you give me your arm, Grant,
Oh, of
please?
course, of course.
Thank you.
Alan, are you going to the hospital?
Oh, Alan, if you don't mind, I'd like to have a few moments of your time before you go. That London gold closing has me disturbed. I'd like your opinion.
I'll see you later, Lila.
All right, dear.
What are you talking about? I don't know anything about London gold.
My dear boy, you never did. I was talking about Herbert.
Apparently, it's a mild heart attack.
Yes, unfortunately. Well, you realize, of course, the old goat is certainly going to show up here at the wedding.
I must say, that's not very good, is it?
Not good. It's a disaster.
Well, we have to prevent it.
Well, of course we have to prevent it. But how?
Well,
thought about the situation completely, and I have to give you my frank opinion. It's hopeless.
Well, thank you, Alan. You're a great help.
No, it's the truth. I'm telling you, when Mother gets the bit between her teeth, especially this nonsense about having the reception here in the house, nothing that you or I can do is going to stop her.
Well, short of burning the house down, I'm afraid you're right.
There is one little thing, however, that could stop everything.
Yeah? What's that?
If Herbert snuffed it.
Well, what difference is that going to make? Knowing your mother, she just turned the afternoon into a double header. You know, a wedding and a memorial service.
No. If Herbert had the decency to die like a nice person, I'm sure that Mother would cancel everything out of respect for his memory.
She might at that.
I'll tell you, it would be wonderful. Then we wouldn't have to fraternize with those terrible relatives of ours.
But they drive me right up the wall. There's that one nephew, you know, the one with all the teeth.
Oh, Archie.
Yeah, I absolutely loathe that young man. Every time I come into a room, he jumps to his feet, bows, calls me sir, and makes me feel like I'm 110. I'm sure the little monster does it on purpose.
You know who I can't stand? His father.
Oh, Quentin.
He's the worst. Every time he walks into a room, he slaps me on the back and says, well, what do you think about the oil prices? What do you think about OPEC? I don't know about oil prices. I don't know what to say to him.
Yeah, just ignore him. That's what I do.
I'd like to ignore the whole wedding.
Well, that's wishful thinking, my dear boy. No, Herbert's cut out of the same cloth as I am. He's not going to let a minor little thing like a heart attack do him in.
I'm sure you're right. Can do anything but slow you down a bit.
There is one thing that gives me pause, though. The thought of Herbert and the rest of that gang camping out here while Lila's divorce papers are still on the loose.
They're not on the loose. They're in Jimmy Lee Holt's hands.
It's one thought that never leaves my mind for a second. You know, any contact we have with that young man from now on must be done with great care and great alertness.
I agree. Listen, I've got to get to the hospital. So what's your schedule for today? You going to help Mother pick the color for the wedding?
Oh, I've already decided that.
Oh, yes? What's it going to be, pink?
Jet black.
Going the wrong way, aren't you, Rick?
Yes, I've just checked out, and I have a patient at the clinic, an anemia problem. I don't know which one yet, but I will narrow it down.
Well, I certainly don't envy you your schedule.
Today's one was really bad ones. From the clinic, I go to the university, and then from there I come back here. Then after that, I go to the late afternoon rush at the clinic.
Gosh. Anything I can do to help?
No, thanks.
You sure?
What did I say that for? No, of course. You could be a very big help if you're serious.
I'll certainly try.
We need more volunteers, doctors for the clinic. Leslie and I do everything we can, and the others that help you, too. But I'm consuming now more time at the university than I had originally planned on.
With your lectures?
Yeah, I don't mind that. It's just now there's a gap at the clinic.
Yeah, I'd like to help, Rick, but as you know, I stick to my specialty. I'm pretty tied up here at the hospital.
Oh, that's all right. I understand.
I can do this much, though, if it'll help. I'd be glad to do a guest lecture or two, and I think I could round up a few other guests also.
That'll be a very big help. Thank you.
Then consider it done. There's just one minor problem.
Oh, what's that?
Well, being relatively new in town, I don't know the campus very well. But I suppose I'll learn to find my way.
Got an idea. What are you doing this morning?
Just rounds, unless ER comes up with something.
Well, I'm going to the clinic, but I should be finished very soon. And if you're finished with your rounds, why don't you meet me at the university? I'll show you around and get you acclimated.
I'd like that. Any special place we can meet?
The student center. It's central, easy to find. How about an hour?
I'll be there.
I'll see you there. Thanks.
Okay.
Peter, let me be frank and open with you, all right?
Of course.
You've said that they want an exposition here. You've also said that it's quite unusual.
Except,
I know what you're about to say. I know, except that the government wished to announce some major breakthrough or discovery, right?
that's correct.
You said this could help the entire world.
That's my information.
Then my next question is rather obvious. How could you know this much without knowing exactly what the discovery is?
Robert, I've gone this far. Don't you think if I knew, I'd have told you?
You're telling me you have no idea?
None. All I know is what I've told you. The research is top secret. It is being conducted somewhere here in Port Charles. That's the main reason for the exposition to be held here.
You don't even know the field?
Not a clue.
What are we talking about here? High tech? Medical research, scientific experimentation, nuclear energy. I mean, all of the above, what?
That's a lot of territory. I'd have to assume it's one of those areas. But at best, it's only a guess.
Yet this research is the reason you're here. I find it hard to believe they never filled you in.
You were with the WSB, Robert. The State Department works in the same way sometime, on a need-to-know basis.
Oh, yes, I remember only too well.
And I think you overemphasize my importance. I'm just a sort of leg man for Foggy Bottom, and I can assure you, he does not tell me of his top-secret plans.
I know how that goes.
Now, do you believe that I don't know what this discovery is all about?
Sure, I believe you. I'm sorry if I've given the impression of otherwise, but it's just...
Just what?
It's so damned infuriating. There is something going on right under my nose, and I don't know what it is.
Which is frustrating. I know.
Yeah. Well, it's not going to be frustrating for too much longer. I can promise you that. I intend to find out what's going on around here.
You calm down about this thing already?
Well, I can't. I mean, that was probably one of the greatest moments ever in my life.
Well, you gotta be kidding.
Look, it probably didn't mean anything to you, but... I mean, I always sat in the back of the classroom, and I never raised my hand. If the teacher called on me, I'd say, I don't know, just wait until they went on to somebody else.
Well, you must have got wonderful grades.
Oh, the worst. C's and D's and F in conduct.
Oh, I would have never guessed that.
Well, actually, I was pretty proud of that, you know. It was like a world's record or something, you know, all the F's on the report card and everything, you know. Winter session F, autumn session F.
You have the worst attitude of anybody.
Well, not anymore. Today broke the ice for me.
Why? Because you raised your hand, you answered a question? Big deal.
Well, it's a big deal for me.
Why? Because you got the answer right?
Because I stood up and I showed all those preppies that I was just as good as they were.
All right. But don't make a habit of it, okay?
Well, I don't know. Once I've started, it might be pretty hard to stop me.
Well, just be careful. Remember, you're not a registered student here.
Why not? I mean, aren't you proud of me at all?
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
You sure don't act like it.
I am. I'm very proud of you. In fact, when you got that answer right, I was busting open all over. Okay? But just be careful. I mean, hanging out in the spotlight, it could get you in trouble.
All right. But I wish you'd sort of go around acting a little more proud of me instead of so ashamed.
Unashamed? You did very right today, little girl. Come on, I'll buy you a sandwich.
Okay.
Hey, what are you doing here? We've already been to class already.
And I've been to work. I just came to get a sandwich and something to drink.
Very good.
I like being a student.
Oh, I love it. You know what I did? I raised my hand and I answered a question and I got it right, didn't I?
She sure did.
And nobody else had the answer, and everybody was impressed, wasn't you, too?
Yes, I was impressed, but I tell you, you can't call attention to yourself anymore.
Wait a second. How can she help it? I mean, look at that face. She's pretty, and she's smart. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she was the belle of the ball.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
Why?
Look, don't pay any attention to him. I mean, he's just as excited as you are to go to this dance. Besides, I'll see you guys later. I gotta go back to work.
Yeah, I hope to see you later. Good.
Okay, me too.
Hey, what was that all about? I hope I see you later.
What?
Just what you said. You hope you see him later.
Nothing. It's just two things, you know, you say to each other. Why are you jealous?
Oh, give me a break.
Well, I'm never sure with you. I mean, you keep on saying that, you know, you don't want me popular at the ball or at the dance. I mean, what does that mean?
Well, that's the same as what I said before. I don't want you to call attention to yourself, okay? You're still not a registered student in this place.
Does that mean you're not taking me to the formal?
It's starting to sound like a dumb idea.
You're backing out, aren't you?
I didn't say that.
Hey, way to go. It's Gloria, isn't it?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I'm Tom Henderson. Hey, you were great in class today. I mean, you got it right on the nose.
Thank you.
Look, I know it's kind of late, and you probably already have a date.
Yeah,
for
it
the
is late.
spring-
She has a date, and that's me, pal.
Excuse me. Can't get arrested for trying.
Yeah.
Some other time, okay?
Yeah.
Some other time.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Come on.
Jimmy Lee. I didn't expect to see you here. Classes?
Just one, lunch. I come here. It's very convenient.
I see. Tell me, how's your girlfriend?
Which one?
Rose, of course.
Oh, she's, fine.
How about your fiancée?
Celia's fine, too.
Well, isn't that nice? Everybody's fine.
Right.
Why don't you give her my best?
I will. And you give Rose my best.
I'll make a point of it. Take care. Hope you haven't been waiting long.
No, I just got here. I haven't looked at a campus bulletin board since I got my degree. Really takes me back.
That's one reason why I like to lecture here so much. There's always activity going on. It makes me feel like I'm a very important part of it.
Well, I think you are. And you're in some very impressive company.
Oh, how's that?
Well, on the list of faculty members, I noticed that a Professor Gerald is doing research here. Is that the same Gerald who was nominated for the Nobel Prize?
One and the same. I haven't met him myself personally, but he's a shining light around here.
He was back in London.
Do you know him in London?
Well, I heard him lecture often, and we became slightly acquainted.
Must have been a real privilege.
It was. I'd love to see him again. I think he'd remember me.
His office isn't very far from here. As soon as I show you around, get you acclimated, we'll stop by there and say hi to the distinguished Professor Gerald.
I'd love that, especially seeing Gerald again. He's a brilliant man.
Oh, yes. I want to thank you, Chancellor, for seeing me on such short notice.
It's a pleasure, Mr. Scorpio. I appreciate your calling in advance so I could gather this information you wanted. Now, this is a complete list of all our faculty members doing research here at the university. You'll note that I've listed their names, the dollar amounts of the grants subsidizing their research, and the titles of their projects. I hope that's what you had in mind.
Well, it should be quite a help to me.
I'm glad. You know, ever since I become head of the university, I put great emphasis on cooperation with the city. It's the old idea of town and gown, and I want the relationship between the two to be excellent.
Well, that's very reassuring of you, sir. Can I ask you a question about this?
By all means, please sit down.
Now, I've just scanned this rather quickly, but I notice a name here, Dr. Hector Gerald.
We consider his presence on campus to be a real plus. As you probably know, he's a Nobel nominee.
Yes, I'm aware of his reputation. Something puzzles me, though, about the information after his name, or should I say the lack of information.
Just what is it you don't understand?
Doesn't say here what Hector Gerald is working on.
No, it does not.
And again, unlike the others, there's no indication of where his grant money is coming from.
Again, there is not.
Still, the amount of his funding far exceeds that of any others.
Professor Gerald's research is being privately funded, Mr. Scorpio.
By someone or some institution that doesn't wish to be identified.
That's not as unusual as you may assume, Mr. Scorpio.
Well, perhaps not, but on the face of it, it seems a little odd. I mean, all the others here have got the details of their grants, like the amounts and the source.
Well, I realize that. But being a Nobel nominee makes Gerald an exception. Whatever work or research he's doing may well be his next bid for a Nobel Prize. We can appreciate that he doesn't want the nature of his work spread over the campus.
You trying to tell me that even you don't know the nature of his work?
I do not. Nor, as far as I know, does anyone here.
Is this a normal situation?
No. It's highly unusual. Ordinarily, the university would insist on knowing the exact nature of the work any of our research people are doing.
But not Hector Gerald.
Because of his enormous prestige, we're content to assume that whatever he's working on is distinctly worthwhile.
But no one knows what his work is.
One man does, of course.
Who?
Hector Gerald himself. Have you talked to him?
No, as a matter of fact, I haven't. Tell me, Chancellor, how long has he been working on this project of his, do you know?
I believe about 8 to 10 years.
Here on campus?
Oh, hardly. He only moved his work here earlier this year. Prior to that, he worked in London.
And before that?
I think we'll find that information on his resume. Let me just take a look. Yes, here it is. Prior to London, he worked at MIT in Boston.
And before that?
Caltech at Pasadena, California.
What about...
Just east of Los Angeles.
Oh? Yeah. What about Topeka, Kansas?
Topeka? I doubt that, Mr. Scorpio. I'm sure there's nothing in his line of work in Topeka but the big look. Well, that is a surprise.
I was right.
He did work in Topeka. But he wasn't connected with any university. It's simply indicated as independent study.
That's very helpful, Chancellor.
I ask how on earth you happen to ask about Topeka.
Oh, just a wild guess. You've been a great help to me, sir.
Glad to be of service. Is there anything else I can do for you?
No, I feel I can take it from here. The next move is probably a meeting with the great man himself.
May I ask why?
I have a feeling that Professor Gerald is going to have a lot of answers that I want to hear.
General Hospital will continue in a moment.